Asher, so you got Grossman, Rabbi Grossman, to debate this issue with you, but then
Rabbi
it took a
Grossman
very
actually agrees with me, by the way. Like, we're of the same philosophical camp. So
well. No, he doesn't think being Noahide or converting is the best idea. Maybe you want to share with what he thinks the best idea is.
I got him to come to this conclusion, by the way, in the middle of the discussion. He says, yes, it's better for them to convert, but for them to convert to be slaves.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? No, but I'll tell you why. Because
But it wasn't to be Jewish or even Noahide. It was to be a slave, like a personal slave.
Yeah, but it's a slave that doesn't necessarily have to work for you. Like, you could free them from that
Well,
obligation.
they have to work for you unless you say otherwise.
Correct.
Which is still a slave.
But they're still Jewish. So that's the point, because slaves, all slaves receive a conversion, but they're not obligated in all the commandments. So it's practical, from a bigoted perspective. It is practical, right? But it's not ethical.
And it's not, and so they are Jewish. In what sense are they Jewish?
Now, it's not like this in the Torah. It's only like this in Rabbinic Judaism. Every Eved Kanani, a Gentile slave, not Jewish slaves, have to be circumcised and forcibly converted to Judaism. And they're only obligated to keep commandments that are not positive or time-bound, which means, like, all the do's, they're not obligated in. They're only obligated in the don'ts. And commandments that are time-bound are like putting on tefillin, like anything that has a time limit on it.
What about davening?
That is also time-bound. That means they're not obligated to daven. Just like women aren't obligated to pray. Yeah.
If you're not obligated to daven, then come on.
Well, davening is not in the Torah, by the way. I mean, God never told you to pray.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And although Maimonides says it's from the Torah, but Nachmanides says it's not. So even there's debates on this. But anyway, like, at least he was consistent. Now I'll tell you why people
It was
like
a very
him.
good debate, actually, even though he threatened you physically. But I thought it was otherwise a very good debate.
I mean, it's interesting that you picked that up. I mean, mind you, I think I'm.
He turned on you, actually. I wish it was like a video, because you would have. I could imagine you saw his face change.
Okay, so I think you're talking about when I asked him the question if he found out that his grandmother wasn't Jewish.
Yeah, he took that so personally. It almost sounded like there was a rumor that you were like probing.
Right, and then he's like, "What? If you told me this, I'd punch you in the face." I mean, he told me that, and then I kind of like, I mean, I have a delayed fuse on these things. I mean, come on, some Jewish guy. I mean, I wasn't born Jewish. I think like, I'm pretty sure he didn't mean it that way.
That's why you got no friends in the community, Ashley. You can't say these things.
Anyways, so yes, he's extremely intelligent. He's the #2 guy of the Machon Shiloh project. However, I believe that the more Zionist you are, the more religiously Zionist you are, the more bigoted you become, because you're living in such a bubble. So this is why they're not scared to actually speak their minds. While if you ask Shmuley Bolteach or someone like one of the more metropolitan rabbis the same question, the first thing they'll ask is like, who's listening? They're of the thinking, like they're essentially philosophically in line with Meir Kahana. So it's kind of this us against them approach. So they're extremely consistent. It's true that a non-Jewish slave has to keep less commandments, and they're technically still Jewish. But then, at that point, what's the point of being Jewish? It's like you're still lacking the structure that draws you to religion in the first place. People want structure. This is why people are becoming Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, because people want structure in this life. When they realize that it's not just about living, but it's about living correctly. So who the heck wants to be a slave? For that, just remain a Noahide.
Did you speak to Rabbi Bar-Haim on this? I thought that would have been super interesting, actually, because I mean, the rabbi you spoke to was interesting, but he's so boring to listen to, I have to say. But he seems smart. But Bar-Haim, I listen to a lot. He's good. I mean, he's super extreme.
That is something. He's also boring.
Yeah.
So I've got to listen to him on 2x because he speaks so slow.
Smart, yeah. I mean, is polar opposites here. So I interviewed
I have
Rabbi
to
Dave
listen to him on
Bar-Haim.
2x, but he's actually like a little bit of fresh air in terms of rabbis, Bar-Haim, even though he's like super. I think he's an extremist. He's just an extremist, but he's very good in that he seems like a grown up, and there don't seem to be many grown up rabbis, I have to say. So he seems like he could grow up and be like a serious person.
He's grown up. He's an older man now.
Well, I mean, when he gets to his 70s and 80s, right?
70s and 80s. Oh, okay.
Rabbi Asher, you were in London a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, I had a
How did
stopover.
Yeah, how did that corner, what is it, Speaker's Corner went along? Was it? But did you make it to the park on the day
Yeah,
that
I
they?
did. Yeah, but I went on a Thursday, and it's only kicking supposedly on on a Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, too bad.
Anyways, yeah.
You were,
So what was the purpose of your trip to Israel? You went for Elul, or what did you go for?
No, the holidays haven't even started. I just went there because I go every year. I don't know. I went. I got bored, and I went to Colombia after. I went for like a week.
You got bored in the middle of that? What's happening right now?
I mean, I'm not in the front line, like I'm in the rear.
I know,
with
but
the
it doesn't
gear.
seem like a boring time at the moment.
It is. There's less tourists. There's less going on, right? There's no parties. All the guys are in the front line. Not that I'm there for the guys. You know what I mean? It's just not. I guess from that perspective, if I was single, I'd be having more fun. But anyways, I gotta go.
how are
guys.
the chicas in Colombia?
The who?
Rob,
Chicas.
take care, guys. Shabbat shalom.
All right, guys. You're gonna get me in trouble.